This is the strategy for somebody that's doing retail arbitrage or online arbitrage to be able to take their business to another level, to quit their job. It's not the hunt of going around like crazy looking for clearance items. That is fun, and that's kind of exhilarating when you find some really cool things, but that is a hustle. And you really cannot build a stable, consistent, long-term business on clearance items. All the people that I know that have started Amazon and have been able to quit their job after getting started were folks that had a replen strategy, people that had essentially a shopping list that they could go into a store and shop from, or go online and shop from, or have a VA do for them, or their shoppers do it for them. But it wasn't like, oh my gosh, I got to get up this morning. Where am I going to go today to look for inventory so that I can eat next week? It's not that. Clearance is fun when you find things, but that is not the way to build a long-term strategy. So I am super pumped to have Jimmy on with me, because he is the master of replens, and he is going to share with us why. But this is just the coolest strategy, the way, guys, that you can build a stable long-term Amazon business. So please, please, please listen up. This is being recorded if you need to jump off for any reason. But Jimmy, I'll let you take over, and I'll interject when I feel like I need to. But otherwise, this is your show, man. Appreciate you being on with me.
Awesome. Thanks for having me on, Ryan. I really appreciate it. I appreciate the introduction too. I know you said I was the master of replens, but everything that Brittany and I have done in our business has come strictly because of you and Amy,
I appreciate that.
Legends Group. So I really appreciate everything that you do, and I'm super excited to share some of the things that we've done to grow our business. So
Awesome.
so to go from $0 to $10,000 per month in RA, OA replens, not only that, but I know that this was promoted within 90 days, and I'll show you exactly how you can do that within 90 days, and actually a little bit less, but give you a little bit of a leeway. So, but first, what we'll go ahead and do is I want to introduce myself. That's me and my beautiful wife, Brittany. We've been in this business together for a while, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that, but we've been together for 10 years. So we are actually high school sweethearts, went to different high schools, but together since I was 17 and she was 16. And, it's actually been over 10 years at this point, because I'm 28, she's 27, but we've been married for 7 years now in August. And then prior to doing this, I actually sold commercial insurance to large businesses. I did it for a couple of different companies, moved away from home. We went to Minnesota. And then when they moved us to a completely different city where we're not from, we're actually originally from St. Louis, and that's where we live now. But I'm saying all of this because before, our jobs controlled our whole entire lives. So Brittany actually was in logistics, and then she was a server as we moved around, and didn't have a stable job in a stable location. But our jobs controlled our whole entire lives up until basically finding Amazon and making it a full-time deal. And so, we've gone through the grind of having to deal with having another job and doing this part-time, and then eventually trying to figure out how to do this full-time. And really the base of our business is what is in this presentation. And so I'm excited to share that all with you. We've always worked together well, so that has been a huge help for us, is that within this business, since we worked together well, we met being servers at Bob Evans back when we were 17 and 16. And, that was something we communicated well, and we've always been that way. So we're really blessed to be able to do this together. And eventually when we have children, we'll bring them up in the businesses as well.
Right. I like Bob Evans biscuits and gravy. Those are good.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's amazing. Can't beat it. But yeah, so why Amazon? For a lot of you probably already sell on Amazon, but it gives us an opportunity for us to be able to work from home and to live our own lives and schedules. And that picture actually was taken in Cancun. We usually go on a trip down there once to twice a year, and our business runs just the same down there as it does while we're up here. So it's been pretty amazing over the last 6 months. We've gone on a couple vacations and nothing has changed while we went away. So it's a really nice feeling to see that scale and grow and to have replenishable products as the base of our business. So So our story by the numbers, just to give you an idea of, we didn't just start at $100,000 a month. We started at zero. In December 2015 is whenever we started in the My Silent Team community. A year and a half later, we were at $8,500. In June of 2017, we did $8,587 in sales. And then we started Legends in July of 2017. So after we started Amazon Legends, in August, we were at $14,190. And then in October, we did $25,000. So I say that because Legends is where we learned how to shop for replens. And we've tweaked it as we've gone along, and we've learned to scale it. But replens became the base of our business at that point, and we never really looked back. At that point, I was still working my full-time job. We were doing this part-time, and it was all out of our own house. So we did all the shipping, processing, prep, everything. Mm-hmm. In March of 2018, I had just quit my job in February. Mm-hmm. We were doing $19,000. And so we took a little bit of a step back in March, just because, I had just quit my job. So I was just getting used to getting back in the flow of everything. And then in May, we were only at 21,000. And so I say that because it's an issue whenever you quit your job and you expect something to scale and grow and nothing changes. And so for us, the reason that happened is because we realized that we hated prepping and shipping. It was just soul sucking for us. We didn't want to do it. And so we didn't grow. And so in July, we decided to hire employees and lease a warehouse space. Now, not everybody has to lease a warehouse space, but we did that because we didn't want it in our home. I know a lot of people that, have something in a shed or something in their house where they can still have employees. But at that time, whenever we hired employees, we were able to go from $20,000 a month to $39,000. Then in August of 2018, we did $73,000. So it was only 2 months after we got the employees that we got all the way up to $73,000.
Oh, goodness.
And then in March of 2019, we did $92,000. We had hired 2 part-time shoppers and an assistant after Q4. I didn't put my Q4 numbers in there intentionally because those are always skewed. Sure. We did break 6 figures a couple times in Q4, but that doesn't count.
That's awesome.
And then in April of 2019, we actually did $103,000.
Wow, it took a year and a half to do that. That's super. Yep. That seems fast. That's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, it took a year and a half from when we started Legends, but it took us, just around 3 years after we started the business.
Yeah. So guys, look at that. He started in December 2015 and June of 2017. So a year and a half later, they were still at $8,500. And guys, don't look at this and be like, oh my gosh, I'm just a complete Amazon loser. Look at Jimmy and Brittany. They're just knocking it out of the park. Do not compare yourself to what they're doing. Just take what he's going to talk about tonight and then put it in your business, and you can get here. I'm kind of on this webinar. I want to expand what you believe is possible. And I would have loved to have talked to you guys back in June of 2017 to know what you were even thinking about. Maybe you can talk about that. Like, did you have a vision for $100,000 a month, or what were you thinking this was Amazon business was gonna be like for you guys?
Well, we had always hoped, that it would turn into something more. We actually, Gary Baird was a coach of ours at the time. So he had a huge business doing a lot more than I ever expected that we could ever do. And, we got to that $8,500 level, and, we found Legends at that point. So, in October, actually, the reason I decided to quit my job was after talking to you at that one conference, Legends conference in October of 2017. And so, we'd always hoped that we could work together and that I could work from home and we'd find something. That's how we found Amazon and selling on Amazon in the first place, was because I just didn't know what else to do. I didn't like selling commercial insurance. And so that's how we kind of started in this. And we loved it. So obviously, though, clearance shopping wasn't the best for us, and we decided to focus solely on replenishable products, back in July. So
so guys, this is possible. And don't worry about if you're just like at $1,000 level, or if you're just starting. I mean, just think in a year and a half, you could be selling $100,000 a month. And if you don't believe that's possible, just look at what they did. And okay, so if that seems ridiculous, well, focus on $10,000. just get there. And then from there, focus on 20. And he's going to go tell you exactly how they got to 10. So let's keep going. But guys, you can totally do this.
Yeah, absolutely. And the reason that we start out with, 0 to 10,000 is because, you need to go to the level that's the next level, right? And so 10,000 is an extremely doable number. And we say within 90 days, I know it took us about a year and a half really to get there. We say within 90 days because that is finding replenishable products. If it wasn't for replenishable products, you cannot necessarily plan that your shopping or whatever is going to be able to bring you in that income, because it's different. I live in St. Louis, and yes, there's good clearance shopping, but there are a lot of sellers that do clearance shopping. So we have to look for replenishable products. And that really adds a stable base to our business. So I'll talk more about why replens in just a second. So there we go. So what are replenishables, replens? Really, it's anything. There's no specific product category. There's no specific type of product. There's nothing that it sets that apart. What really sets it apart is it just is something that will sell consistently. And I say that because it's replenishable for you. It's not replenishable for the person that buys it. It's not toothpaste all the time. It's not paper towels all the time. It could be anything that sells consistently.
Yep.
And so I'll walk through a couple of different examples here in a minute, but basically you can buy it over and over again. And with Keepa and your sales history, you're able to plan on about how many you're going to be able to sell each month, each quarter, etc., unless something crazy happens to the listing.
Yeah. And Jimmy, the other thing people don't realize sometimes is it's not even to the same person. It just sells consistently from your account. So I use the example of a hammer. Most people aren't going to buy a hammer every month, maybe unless you're a general contractor or something, you just keep running out of them. But I have a hammer on Amazon. Jimmy goes and buys it, and then my mother-in-law goes and buys one, and then somebody else goes and buys one, and it sells consistently every month. If it sells 100 a month or 1,000 a month or even 2 a month, that's a replen because I can count on it being just being consistently sold. So guys, literally any product.
Yep, absolutely. So some examples of replenishable products. So it can be toilet paper, it could be ping pong balls, it could be paper towels, it could be backpacks, it can be anything. So obviously we sell pretty much all of these. So yeah, we sell all of those or have sold all of those at some point. And that will always change. You're always going to be looking for new replenishable products, but it's way less than what you have to do with clearance. And while you're looking for replenishable products, new ones, that you're building on your base. So it's not like you're looking for new ones to replace old ones all the time. You're looking for new ones to replace some, but also to build that list and grow your business. So, okay, so why replens? We kind of covered that a little bit, but it gives consistency to your business. You can plan on it. You know about how much you should sell each month. You know about how much profit and ROI and all of that should happen each month for your business. It really allows you to outsource that to future employees. Whether it's shopping, you can give a list of items for them to go pick up, or it's shipping. They know exactly how to prep these items each and every time because they see them all the time. It's not something new with 5 clearance stickers or 2 clearance stickers, or you need a heat gun to take something off. It's literally the same thing almost every time that it comes through the door. Consistency, prep, ship, and then less turnover. So you don't always have to be finding new stuff. Obviously you want to build your business, but you don't have to like you do with clearance. More reliable. Okay, so tools needed to find replens. So how do we start really to get to that $10,000 a month? I broke it down into one, kind of the essentials, the basics of what we used, honestly, to grow our whole list are the essentials, which is the seller app, and then Keepa. Now, Keepa is currently about $17 a month, but to me, it is the #1 most essential tool to have whenever you're looking for replenishable products or even just about any products on Amazon. And I'll show you some examples of Keepa charts in a little bit. But basically, it just helps you to know how many you need to buy and the price consistency and whatnot. Now, some nice-to-have tools are, one is Legendary Sourcing app, which Danny Stock created, and then the other one is Scoutify. Scoutify comes with your subscription to Inventory Lab. The reason I say that they're nice to have is because it gives you an easier access to Keepa. Legendary Sourcing really has the easiest access because you click it and it opens in the app, which is amazing. Scoutify opens in a separate window and takes a little bit longer. But if you already have Inventory Lab, Scoutify is an excellent option.
Hey, Jimmy, so I know that you're used to talking to people who know what all these things are. So explain what I have some folks that are coming into this from this that may not be Amazon sellers at all yet. So what is Keepa? I know you're going to show an example on the screen, but what is that program?
Yeah, so Keepa is an application. It's a Chrome extension and also a separate website, Keepa.com. Where you can put in a product essentially, and then it will show you the sales rank history. So if it's selling consistently, it will show you the pricing history. It will show you how many sellers have been on the listing at any one time. And so basically I use that app to evaluate a product if we should purchase it or not. If it has consistent sales rank, meaning that it's consistently selling, then we know that we can count on that to be replenishable and to always sell. If you see that the pricing though is fluctuating a lot, so it's going from $50 to $10 to $25, then that helps you to know maybe I shouldn't purchase this product because it could drop in price and I would lose money. So we look at a bunch of different things, and I'm going to go over that a little bit more, but does that, I guess, clarify what
it totally does, guys. I know that a lot of you that maybe have that aren't in the Legends group, you taught to look at the best sellers rank. And so let's say something is 5,000 rank. Well, you don't know that that's just also just a snapshot in time. That's what it is right now. Without looking at Keepa, you may not know that somebody just went and bought it just a few minutes ago and it hadn't sold in 5 days.
Right.
So you look at that 5,000 rank, oh my gosh, that means it's selling 25 a day. Let's clear the shelf. Keepa allows you to not make those types of mistakes where it gives you a longer history and wow, that 5,000 rank is just a crazy thing that happened just right then. It hasn't sold in forever. And so that's why Keepa is so important.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. And so that the reason I say Legendary Sourcing or Scoutify is nice is because it speeds up your time in the store as well. So if you get direct access to Keepa, you aren't waiting or copying and pasting the product over.
Exactly.
So, now, the other reason is buy list functionality. And Legendary Sourcing and Scoutify, you can create buy lists that you can then upload to make your shipments. So it's a little bit more further down the road or a little bit more advanced, but that's something that for our business is extremely valuable as we got employees and started to outsource that. It just speeds up the shipping and prepping process. And so that's why that's also important. And then the other tool that's needed to find replens is patience. So I say that because the way that I shop, and I'll go through that a little bit more, but is very slow and methodical. And this is the way we teach our shoppers to shop, is to go product by product and looking for that product in the Amazon seller catalog versus just going to an aisle, scanning 10 or 15 things with, scanning the UPC code and then finding nothing and moving on. We need some patience to make sure that you can stand there and find replenishable products in each and every aisle. Okay. So those are the three main tools needed to find replens. So how do you find replens with RA or OA? Go slowly. And this does apply to both RA and OA. Again, go slowly. It will feel like you're going at a snail's pace to find these things, but it really is worth it in the end. Don't scan UPCs. I know a lot of people, when we started, we were in clearance shopping and all we did was scan the UPCs. And even when we started to do replenishable products, we tried scanning UPCs, but we weren't finding as much. The reason for that is because there are a lot of listings that don't match up to the UPC on that product. So whether another seller made an Amazon listing that didn't have a UPC, or they put in a different one to confuse sellers, whatever it might be, there are a lot of hidden listings that we sell on. And that's, what we call them, is that they're hidden listings because you can't find them with UPC. And so you've got to slowly type everything in. So
let's just talk about that for a second. So guys, you're going at it the way an Amazon buyer does. So think about the last time you purchased something on Amazon. Might have been today. Did you scan a UPC code, or did you be like, hey, honey, we need some more barbecue sauce. What's the UPC code of that barbecue sauce? No, you type in the barbecue sauce you're looking for. You type in the keywords of the items that you're trying to find.
Mm-hmm.
With this method, you're doing the exact same thing as a buyer would. You're typing in the keywords, the titles, maybe the brand name. And so when he's saying hidden listings, you're finding these, you're going to come up on these listings that people may have created that they did not use the UPC code of the item to create.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's some that are selling enormously well, and you'll find them by using the titles, the keywords, the product name, the brand name, and it's just the reverse sourcing that Danny talks about in the Legends group. And so just don't scan UPC codes like he's talking about, but it's because you're coming at it the way a buyer does, and these are, quote, hidden listings, because most Amazon sellers that are scanning UPC codes will never find those. Mm-hmm. So that's why you have to type them in.
Yep, absolutely. And you know, what's funny is that hidden listings are hidden to us on the seller app, but if you actually go to an Amazon browser and search for the product, they're the main ones that show up. Typically. The UPCs are actually the ones that are usually hidden to buyers, because, you know, a lot of times the best-selling listings don't have UPCs attached.
Right.
Just a little bit of irony there. But so type in everything you see to the Amazon seller app or browser. So a lot of times when I've talked to other sellers, I hear them, you know, as they're learning to find replens, they're like, I just get confused with how somebody would type this in to find it on Amazon. I don't know the right keywords. I don't know what I should be using. I think many times people get bogged down with how does someone else find this on Amazon, when really the way that you should think when you're looking is how would you find this on Amazon if you wanted to purchase it.
Right.
So I'll give examples, but like one of my examples in the future is AIM toothpaste. Most people wouldn't be typing in a bunch of words. They will just be typing in the brand and what type of product it is.
Yep.
And so keep it basic. You know, you don't want to add in all the fancy keywords that sellers a lot of times try to add into listings. Just find the basic, you know, basic information for that product. So brand name is what I start with. Type of product. So AIM toothpaste, and then sometimes after I've tried AIM toothpaste, I will try the size of the product. So 8 ounces or, you know, 2 ounces, whatever it might be, because many grocery replens and health and beauty and all of those types of things that have the size on them actually help to find that on Amazon. So a lot of those listings have those. So start broad and then get specific. So like I said, start with AIM toothpaste, and then if you find some stuff, great. If you aren't finding as much, then start getting more specific with the size of the product. So AIM toothpaste 6 ounce, or Bounty paper towels. That's broad. It's pretty basic. And then you can start to get more specific with words like bundle or set or pack or variety. A lot of times these Amazon listings are created as a 2-pack or a 6-pack. So if you were to type in AIM toothpaste 6 ounce, you might not find that 6-pack listing as easily. In this way, or in this case, you would type in AIM toothpaste pack and something else could come up. So you've got a lot of different options to put into your Amazon seller app to search for these products, to find different listings. And that's what make Replenishables great, because you might find one product that has 6 different listings that you can sell on. You have 6 new replenishable products at that point.
Wow, that's awesome.
So it helps to find the hidden listings whenever you start to add in words like that instead of using the UPC. And typically they're not found by scanning the UPCs. And lastly, the picture scan feature in the seller app, you can, whenever you go to add a product, there's a camera in the top right of the seller app that if you click that, you can actually take a picture of the product, and it will search for that actual picture on this Amazon website. So that can help find even more listings if you aren't finding anything by typing.
So if you pick up, maybe you'll have to get to this, but if you were in an aisle or you're online, you see AIM toothpaste, how many different ways will you type in that one thing?
Yeah, so it depends, but I'll start with the brand first. If there are a lot of listings, then I'll look at what the best-selling listings are first.
Okay.
Maybe just go try to find the product on the shelf, because that might just be the easiest way to do it. If I'm not finding as much there, then I'll start to type in maybe the flavors of toothpaste. So AIM toothpaste cinnamon, AIM toothpaste cinnamon 6 ounce, get more specific there. And then you can start adding in these other words like bundle, set, pack, or variety.
Got it. So you're starting very broad and then getting more specific.
Yep, absolutely. And you do that too, because if you go and you type in AIM toothpaste at a store and nothing pulls up, well, then there's no point to get more specific and look at every product because nothing matches.
That's true, because you could sit there and go AIM toothpaste, bad breath, AIM toothpaste, white teeth, and you're just wasting your time, because if you would have gone, that makes sense. Okay, so if you just would have been broad to begin with and nothing comes up at all, especially if it's, that's not going to happen with AIM toothpaste because that's a name brand.
Right.
Maybe some of these more obscure brands, instead of getting too specific at the beginning, start broad. That's good.
Exactly. Now on to Keepa. So basically the next step then, after you find a product and you're like, okay, this one looks good, it looks profitable from the seller app, then you're going to want to check Keepa next. You can do that by going to keepa.com and putting in the product. There's an ASIN that you would put in to find that, and it will pull up a Keepa chart. And so basically what you're looking for are dips in the green sales rank line. So I've got a picture on one of the next slides that I can talk more in depth about it. But there's a green line on a Keepa chart that shows the sales rank for that product. And every time that dips, that typically means that there was a sale that happened. And so that helps you to know, okay, this product has sold, 15 times in the last 2 months. I can at least count on being able to send that in and it should sell. And you can have a little bit more confidence in what you're buying. You're also going to check for the buy box price to be consistent. And again, this will be more easily shown in a future slide, but the buy box price on a Keepa chart is shown by pink dots. And you want to make sure that those pink dots are more in a straight line, because that means it's a consistently good selling and good price. Whereas if it is going up and down multiple times, then you know that the price can tank on you and you could lose money if you sent in that product. It helps you to make sure it's more reliable of a pricing standpoint, and then it's also easier to ensure success in a long-term replan. If you see something that's been consistent in price for the last 6 months, then you know that you can have more confidence that it will continue to stay at that price for a longer period of time. So that's why you take a look at Keepa. So some search examples. So I'm going to go through this basically in that same process. So there's AIM toothpaste. And so I wanted to show this. First off, you can see the little camera. So if you ended up having to do picture scans, that's what you would click to be able to scan the product itself, not the UPC, but the actual product, and it will search for that picture. But also, whenever you type in AIM toothpaste, they give you keyword suggestions. And so if you start to need to dive deeper, you can type in, okay, well, AIM toothpaste gave us a lot. Let's try AIM toothpaste gel or kids or cinnamon or original. I wouldn't try Prime Pantry because you can't sell in that category, but you can try all of the other ones. And that gives you a little bit more direction of what people are most likely typing into the Amazon seller browser when they're trying to find this product.
Doesn't that data come from what buyers are typing in?
Yes. And so the other way that I would assume, as far as I know, that is correct. I assume it's from buyers also because they show Prime Pantry and sellers won't be typing that in.
That's true.
So I'm assuming that's the main keywords that come up whenever you go to buy the product. However, either way, it gives you plenty of options to try and look for new listings. Okay. The other example is these are gluten-free pretzels, Glutino gluten-free pretzels. That's what I would type in. And then you can start to see kind of the sales or the basic data that they give you. So if you look at this, Glutino gluten-free pretzels, you can see that there's lightly salted ones. There's a pack of 12 here. This one's a 14.1 ounce bag, and this is an 8 ounce bag. The sales rank. So if it's got a sales rank on there, at this point in our business, I don't look at the sales rank as much because we just look at Keepa. But as you're starting out, there are plenty of free sales rank charts out there. If you're in Legends, I know that there is one, and I think Jim Cochran has a sales rank chart that you can go find, or at least something to compare to.
Okay.
But only look at the ones that meet the criteria that you want. So
okay, so Jimmy, real quick. So pretend I'm brand new. I've never sold on Amazon before, or even just getting started. And you're in a Walmart aisle and you see gluten-free pretzels. You type that in, and these are the first 3 listings that come up. What catches your eye? Do you scroll right past these ones here, or what do you do next after you see these 3?
well, first I would see if they had these types in the store. So
Okay,
if
so let's say that they do. They have
Yep.
all of them.
Yep. Okay. Well, then I would probably go through each one. So I would find the 14.1. I mean, it's got a sales rank of 94,000. It's slower, but you know what? I'm going to check Keepa anyway. So
Okay.
I'm going to click into that listing
Got it.
and see what the price is and the profitability. If it's profitable,
Uh-huh.
then I'll check Keepa. Okay. And so basically, that's what I would do. Let's go through each of these. Now, even the 176,000 ranked one right here, it's a pack of 12. So for us, we might look at it, but if you don't want to package together 12 of those things, then you might skip it. And so that's basically how you would find these refunds.
Got it. So you pull them up. You're like, okay, I don't see this one here at the store, so I'm going to pass on that one. But I see this one. Oh, and the sales rank is under the margin, under the level that I want, so it's good.
Mm-hmm.
Let's click into that, then go to Keepa and analyze it further. So guys, are you seeing now why it can take a long time to go through an aisle if you are analyzing one brand name for this long? But then that's why you're finding these hidden gems that most sellers are never going to find because they're just scanning barcodes.
Absolutely. And, I'll spend an hour in one aisle, sometimes longer, if it's a good aisle. If it's a bad aisle and I'm not finding anything at all, I'll spend, 20 or 30 minutes. It's still a long time to not find anything, but on the aisles that I'm spending an hour, I'm finding 15 or 20 new refunds.
That's awesome.
So that's kind of the process. Okay, so some product examples. So AIM, let's take a look at a pack of 6. I don't know what the cost of these are. I'm just going to assume they're $1 a piece. That's what I'm going with, at least for this example. At $1 a piece, that would leave you with $2.49 of gross proceeds. Technically, though, this is the low price, so you'd actually have an extra $1 because you'd price it at the FBA price, okay? Because that's what other people that want to be prime sellers are selling it at, $17.16. So you'd actually be making a little bit more money than that. And then you'd see that there's reviews. It's got a rank, so that means it's selling. I'd go check Keepa, and here's the Keepa chart. So the pink dots that I talked about earlier for the price, these are those pink dots. That's the buy box price, and you can see the little grid over here that shows you what that means. So the buy box price stays pretty steady. It doesn't fluctuate a lot. So you know that the pricing at the very least would go to $15, and you'd have to see if that's still profitable or not at that low point, but it doesn't really change much. You can also see the sales rank in this green line, and it drops a lot. It's dropping pretty consistently. It didn't here for whatever reason. Maybe Amazon changed something on the listing, but then it came back and it drops a lot. So it's selling a lot, and you know that will consistently sell for you. And then to go a little bit deeper into Keepa, you can look at the number of sellers. And so it is going up steadily, but because the pricing isn't changing that much, I would still feel comfortable buying this if it was profitable. I know a lot of people might ask, that are familiar with Keepa about this Amazon section. So if it's shaded orange, that means Amazon's sold on it. A lot of sellers try to avoid things if Amazon's on it. My guess is since it was such a small, short period of time that they most likely won't come back. However, that would, since it's so close to this date, that would cause me to buy fewer products. Okay. So I would try.
So you got a question in Zoom. Kyle's asking, do you sell with Amazon on the listing? So let's pretend that orange area was a lot larger.
Yep. I probably would not, unless it was a lot of profit. Sure. And then I would test it. Because Amazon, if it's a small amount of profit, under $10, I would not sell on it. But if there's a lot of profit in there, I would probably compete with Amazon. We don't compete with Amazon much of anything. So because
I think like Kate, for example, they do all the time, correct?
Kate does? I think so.
I think if I remember correctly at a conference, she was talking about that the Amazon doesn't scare them at all. Not that it scares you. I mean, it just,
Yeah.
they don't mind being on listings with Amazon. I
Yeah,
believe
it does depend on the product too. I mean, if it was some super popular toy and we were trying to sell against Amazon, and if Amazon's, there's a lot deeper you can go into Keepa, but if Amazon's price was always here and the pink dots were always below Amazon's like top line price, then I would potentially compete if it was a good enough profit. But if Amazon's top line here is dropping a lot, then that means Amazon's dropping their price to match. And so there's a lot more detail you can go into on Keepa. As you're starting out, for the purpose of this webinar, for 0 to 10,000, I would avoid things Amazon is on until you get a good handle on Keepa and start, getting a good handle on replens. Okay. So yeah, sometimes also you'll see that the sales rank chart might be gone. Like you might not have a green line, but you'll see some purple, like the sellers down here are fluctuating. That means that there's some sort of glitch with Keepa. Or with Amazon, because if the sellers are fluctuating, that means it's typically selling a little bit as well. So if you ever run across that weird issue, you can test a couple if the sellers go down quite a bit. Okay. Any other questions on that?
I think on that exact thing. Actually, just real quick, Grant, isn't Amazon getting out of selling? I keep hearing Jim say this.
They're not getting out of selling. They're getting out of working with smaller brands. So, AIM is a pretty big brand, but if it was a small brand and they were selling directly to Amazon and Amazon was selling their product on their website, then Amazon might be getting away from that. But, with Nike and other large brands, Amazon will probably continue to sell those products. Okay. So as far as from what I've heard. So it does leave a lot of room for us as sellers to help out brands or to have a little bit more opportunity for replenishable products, because Amazon will eventually be off of those products that are smaller brands. So another example, so Greenbrier, pet food treats, plastic storage jars. So that's the keyword filled title. The way that this is actually a product that would be from Dollar Tree. So Dollar Tree, one of their products, their actual brands within their store, their private label brands, is Greenbrier. And so with Greenbrier, you can type that in and it's only found at Dollar Tree. Additionally, for this product, we would have searched something like Greenbrier treat jars or Greenbrier storage jars, something like that. And that's how we would be able to find this. So it's a 4-jar set. So each one of these is $1 a piece. So you know that that's $4, and so you make $1.31 on that $4. So it's just over 30% ROI, and then also you'd be making a decent amount of profit on that. So if you sold a lot, it's also 18,000 in pet products, and it's had some reviews, so it's selling really well. Now the thing with this one is if you open up Keepa, you can see that the pink boxes, the buy box price, what it's selling at, fluctuates quite heavily.
Yeah.
You can also see, luckily with the sales rank, that it's selling a lot. So the green is dipping quite a bit. But then not only is the price fluctuating a lot up and down, you also have sellers that are coming up and then down and then back up and down. So I would have less confidence with this one. This would be something that, okay, if I buy it, it could still tank. And it could cause me to lose a little bit of money or not to make as much.
Is that because of the number of sellers on there?
Because the number of the sellers, and because you keep seeing the product price drop quite consistently. Now, it looks like here that this low point, this is the low point that it's been at. So that's at least good. It's never really gone below that point, but it could continue to drop from there. So, it's a little bit trickier when you're looking at it. I would have more confidence in the AIM toothpaste that I showed you than I would in potentially this one.
Yeah. Is there, I know where somebody's asked about your parameters. I know you're going to get your parameters on return on investment numbers. What about number of sellers? Is there a benchmark there that you're like, I don't want it if it's over this many sellers?
There isn't. And the reason is we just typically look at the sales rank and the number of sellers on Amazon. It's really the trend. I don't care about the total number of sellers unless the product sells like 2 times a month and there's 20 sellers on it. But usually when there's a lot of sellers on it, it typically will sell more often. But so it's usually if there's 100 sellers on a toy, that's probably because the toy sells 100 times a day.
Cool.
And so we don't have that parameter. But so let's say I looked at this back in the middle of March or April, probably right here. I would not buy this product because at that point the seller number was going up consistently and not dropping consistently. I mean, yeah, there's some decreases, but it's still increasing. So at this point, I wouldn't buy the product because that would worry me. At this point, I might buy it, which is what these people did. There's some learning curve to this. And you're going to see a lot of different, I mean, we could talk about Keepa for days and days, individual products. It's going to take testing. And one thing I didn't put, I don't believe in the bullet points, is test, wide. So I would get, 2 to 4 of a product as you're new to test out those products to see if they sell. And if they sell, go buy more if it's still profitable. And so I would, inch deep, mile wide, as Jim always talks about. So anything with this one, Ryan?
Not on this slide exactly. No, other questions, yes, but we can save those to the end.
Perfect. Okay. So 0 to 10,000. I'm going to get a little bit into some of the requirements and then also some of the math of, how you can hit those numbers. So first, mindset. This is consistent and has been consistent in every stage of our business, is that we need the right mindset. Not only are we going to hit 10,000, but we're going to exceed 10,000, and always having the mindset of, hey, I'm taking an hour to find replens. If I'm finding 0 replens, at least I learned that this aisle is no good. If I'm finding 20 replens or 1 replen, then you know that you're consistently finding more and more products to add to your business. So just have that mindset of you're going to be successful with this, and you're also going to be finding more products. Even if right now it's not going that well, you're going to find something soon, okay? Next is work ethic. So you need to have work ethic in this business to make this work. You need to make sure that you're putting in the work to find these replens. You're standing in that aisle for a while, and people keep passing you going in and out of the store. You need to be okay with standing there and having that work ethic, and then obviously sending the products to Amazon. And then lastly, so these first 3 are actually consistent in every stage of our business. The cash flow one changes as you grow your business. And the reason I say that is because when you start, typically you have less cash flow to use. You're usually starting with less money. So you've got to go for higher profit items and higher ROI items so that you can have, inventory that makes you more money. Also, you want to make sure that it's faster moving. So you're going to look for the lower ranked ones. If you're looking at Keepa, you want to make sure that that green line is moving a lot, showing that there's more and more sales. The reason is you just want to turn over your inventory faster so that you can take that money and reinvest it into growing your business. Okay. In this stage of your business, you're going to be learning Keepa. You're going to be spending a lot of time looking at those Keepa graphs and getting used to what do all the different things mean. You're also going to be learning more and more how to find replens. How do I type for this? How do I type in something for toothpaste? How do I type in something, for a hammer, as Ryan said? Whatever it might be, you're going to be learning how to find replens. And then lastly, adding replens. And so I put 30 in 30 days because I think it's totally doable to find 30 replens in 30 days, whether it's 1 a day or it's, 10 a week for 3 weeks, whatever it might be, you can do that. And so have that mindset that you're going to try and add those products, add that many replens in that amount of time. And I use that as a basis for the math required to hit $10,000 a month within 90 days. Okay, so that's where I kind of grew from that. So our averages. So I put this on here so we can have a little bit of a comparison for math. I gave a similar talk as far as the averages go at the Legends conference, and it actually confirmed that my numbers are consistent with other sellers. So that was good for me to hear, that there are plenty of other sellers that also have these averages while they have replenishable products. So our average selling price on a replen is $15. So some might be 10 whenever it sells, some might be 20 or $30 whenever it sells, but $15 is the average. We average about 10 sales per month per replan. Some of those are 2 per month, some of those are 30 to $60 or 60 of them per month. It just depends on the product. Put that in there. And then ROI for us in total is around 70%. We will purchase products though down to 30%. However, just starting out, I suggest a minimum of 40%. Okay.
Okay. ROI. So Jimmy, I'm in third grade here. To tell me what that means. Give me like if I went out and spent $100.
Yep. So if you spend $100, then you're going to be making an additional $70 in that case. So at 70%. So if your minimum ROI is 40%, then you're going to be making $40 on top of the money that you got back. Okay. So whenever you're looking at a replan, if you find something that's $10 is your cost, you want to be making at least $4 profit after every expense is taken out. Okay. And as you grow, you start to change those parameters. Sure. Some people I know have a minimum ROI of 100% because they want to make sure that their money is growing faster so they can reinvest it into more capital. So it just depends on where you're at in your business. So like I said, we'll go down to 25, 30% on fast moving inventory, but that's different starting out.
But heck, that's a whole lot better than the stock market or a savings account. I mean, golly, exactly. You're going to go down to 25%. So my goodness, I'm going to, suck up and get 25% return on my money. That's an amazing return, guys.
I know.
There's not really many opportunities out there that are like this where you can put some money in and, just get that kind of return. Pretty incredible.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's the best place to put your money as long as you, are doing what you're supposed to be doing. Sure. So yeah, those are our averages. That's kind of what we work with. And then I use that for the $10,000 math. And so how do we get there at a $15 average selling price? That means you need to have about 667 sales per month. It sounds like a lot, but it really isn't after you get going. At an average of 10 sales per month per replan, that means you only need 67 replans.
Wow.
And so I say that because if you're doing 30 replans in 30 days and putting in that work, then in 2 to 3 months, if you have the capital and you're finding the 30 replans per month that sell with this velocity, you'll hit $10,000.
Yeah.
Okay? So you need to be able to reinvest that money. So if you've got 30 replans that you found in month 1, you send in the products, they're selling, you get the money back from what they sold for, then you can reinvest that in finding more replans. Okay. And so theoretically though, if you went out and you shopped, you could find 67 replans in a month and then potentially hit that within a couple months. But that is the basis for how you're going to be able to grow this business. You always need to be finding new replans. You can hit $10,000 per month within, it's actually about, I think 2.5 months, but put 3 for, a little bit of additional leeway. So absolutely. Okay. Any questions on that at all?
Not on that exactly. But so let's talk about online arbitrage. So let's say that, okay, so you pretend like you're in when you walk into a store, you're literally like picking an aisle. Maybe you went to the aisle over here before. So, this week you're going to focus on this other aisle and you'll pick up items and just go down the whole aisle and check out every product, correct?
Yep.
Okay. So how would I do that on online? If I just can't go to the stores, I don't want to go to the stores. I live in Singapore and it's just not possible to do RA from there. How would I do it?
So for us, what we do is we would go to like Walmart.com or Target.com, whatever it is, and we'd essentially just pick a category. Okay, yep. So it's the same thing, but it's online aisles essentially for us. And then we would start reverse searching those in the Amazon browser essentially, and use Keepa online and all the same stuff. So that's what we would do. You could also do it on your phone. I mean, you could be looking at your phone on the seller app and have the web page pulled up and just be typing in what you're seeing on there, whether it's toothpaste or it's paper towels or whatever that might be. So for us, it's the exact same process. just online instead of in the store,
Yeah.
which I know can seem daunting because there's so many things, online, but there's also a lot of stuff in store. So, that's how we approach it. Also looking for like brand name products from that store. So like Target is Archer Farms. Target has Up and Up.
Uh-huh.
Walmart has Equate and Mainstays, and a bunch of other brands that are their own product.
Right.
So we also look at those quite heavily.
Yeah. So guys, stores in the store, they're arranged by category. You have the home and kitchen, and then you go over here and you have toys and you have automotive over here. The websites are arranged exactly the same way. So you go on somebody's website and just go category by category and go down into the subcategories and start. So today I'm going to go to automotive and check out lighting and get the lighting section. Okay, that lighting section is done. I found one thing. Go to the next section. Automotive, it's going to be cleaning supplies for cars. Check that. Okay, I found a couple more. You literally just go methodically down through each layer of their website. That's exactly how you would do this. And you could have a virtual assistant do this exact thing. You don't have to sit there for 8 hours a day doing this on your own. You could have somebody in the Philippines or elsewhere that is doing this for you and finding these replens for you. So it can be done whether you love stores or you hate going into stores, whether you have time or don't have time. This is totally possible to do. And so, guys, this is your key. This is the key. I promise you, this is the key to use OA and RA to to explode your Amazon business.
Right. And I'll give you all a secret too, is that you can go, if you do live like an hour away from a Walmart or from a grocery store or from a regional store, Walgreens, whatever, you can go to that store and have somebody, or you can do it, take pictures of the aisles, and then go home and look up everything online from those aisles. So it's essentially doing the same thing. You're just searching for it all at home. And then whenever you go back, maybe in a week, you can buy all of those products and just have a shopping list for yourself. So that's something a lot of people don't normally do. But if you do live a far distance from a store and you want to try this RA thing, then go and take pictures of those aisles and then look them up whenever you get home. So, okay. Okay.
Yeah. So Karen's asking, how would the VA do that? Do they need a special software? No, not at all. They just need to go to Walmart.com and then have Amazon.com and the tab right next to it. They would just, okay, say I'm on Walmart.com. I see this. I'm going to copy and paste titles or the brand names over into Amazon.com, and what comes up, and compare. Can you make any money? You could do it on an app. You could you could do it on the seller app on your phone and go back and forth. You could be looking at Walmart.com on your computer and typing it in on the seller app on your phone. There's so many different ways we could do that. That makes it possible.
Absolutely. Okay.
All right.
Good. All right.
Just comes down to math, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
So I know some of you guys don't like math, but this is how you're going to do it. So I just wanted to kind of take over here, and not take over, but I love helping people think bigger. So I want you to imagine what 10,000 in sales per month could do for your business. And he's talking about you guys could have it done in 2 months, 2.5 months, 3 months from now. You could have 10,000 in sales consistently through this method of replen. So imagine if you just were profiting 15% of that, $1,500 profit per month. That is a house payment. Profit of 25% per month, 2,500 profit in a month. That's definitely a house payment for most people. And 35%, $3,500 profit. What would that do for you guys? I imagine most of you would be thrilled with these numbers right here, and that would be a great jump start for you. But it doesn't end there. Imagine what it'd be like for 20,000 in sales.
Right.
20,000 in sales per month. Jimmy and Brittany are at 100,000 per month. So you're making 20,000 in sales, gross sales per month, 15% profit, $3,000, 25% profit, 5,000, and 35% profit, 7,000.
To give you an idea too, real quick, our profit margin with 7 employees, we don't shop anymore much at all. I literally do this less than 4 or 5 hours a week. We do way more things, but the RA business is a lot less. with all of the scale that we've built in, warehouse, everything, our profit is typically between 16 to 18% per month. So that's after all the expenses. Whenever we didn't have employees and we didn't have virtual assistants or any of that stuff, our typical profit margin was around 30%. So 30 to 30.
Wow.
So
That's awesome.
that gives you an idea at how much your actually potential is whenever you're starting out from a profit percentage standpoint.
Man, that's awesome. So guys, just think about these. And I'm a big believer in vision boards and setting goals. So if you're at 2,000, make your goal 5,000. If you're at 5,000, make your goal 10. If you want to get, think bigger, go ahead and put 50,000 or 100,000 on there, because you can get there, but make it incremental. It's easier to see that next level than it is, the step that's way up above where you are right now. So I'm just here to tell you that it is so possible. There's so many people that Jimmy and I know that are doing this and are able to quit their jobs or to pay off all the debt that they have. I've just heard story after story. And guys, this is the way to do it. So, all right, let's go to the next slide here. So what about beyond that? What about beyond 20,000 to the 30,000, 40,000, 50,000? What does it even take to get to that level? He's talking about, having to hire shoppers and maybe doing a warehouse, and holy cow, that seems like a lot. How do you even think about doing that? I need a plan for that. Like, how am I going to get to that level? If I'm down here selling 3,000 a month, I can't imagine what it's like for 50,000 a month. What am I going to have to change to make that happen? So how awesome would it be to have a step-by-step plan for doing that, to go beyond 10K? Well, we got it. So guys, I know some of you were at the Legends Conference in Marion, Illinois in April, and Jimmy did a presentation. It was 30 it was 0 to 10, right?
0 to 100.
0 to 100. So he's talking about your plan, right? Kind of an overview of your process.
Yeah, of how we got there in each stage of the business.
Of how they went from 0 to 100. And it was a very, very, very broad overview of what it took in each stage to get to that level. It always included mindset, because mindset is so huge. You have to believe that you can do it. And then it was practical things like, at this point, this is where we hired a shopper. This is the point when we started putting in standard operating procedures. This is when we had a warehouse and all of that. Okay. So we had so many questions, just like we have on this webinar right now. I mean, we got a ton of questions to get to at the end of this, guys, and we will get to them, I promise. If you're in Facebook, if we don't get them in Facebook, we'll go back afterwards and answer them. You guys on Zoom for sure will get to you as well. But we had so many questions at that conference. I went up to Jimmy afterwards and said, Jimmy, this is stuff that people need to hear, because look at the number of questions that you got. This is a hot topic and something that is going to change people's lives. You've got to do a course. You think about, actually didn't say it that way. It's like, have you ever thought about doing a course or something? Because I really believe that the knowledge you have can really give people the freedom that they need. And so he thought about it. I was like, yeah, let's do it. And so we're putting it together. Guys, it's going to be a Replens live course. So let's go through what it is and what you'll get. Essentially, it's going to be 7 webinars, live webinars that will be recorded, and all that content that will be packaged up into a course, but you guys will get to be a part of it live and ask him questions as we go. And there'll be a Facebook group where you can ask questions. And so it's instead of having him like pound out hours and hours and hours and then like, okay, it's done. He's a busy guy. It may take forever for that to happen. I said, let's just do some live webinars and knock these out. So we're going to get a step-by-step plan, how to go from 0 to 100K, how to have the right mindset to find replens, because this is so key. You have to believe that you can do it. And we'll help you with that. How to keep track. Jimmy, talk about this one, because this can be a headache.
Yeah, so as you add more and more replenishable products, you'll realize that it's easy to start to lose track of everything that comes up. So what I did with another seller is we built an Excel sheet that was able to manage those replens, and now we're turning that into a software that automatically does it. So the Excel sheet is very time consuming. It takes one of our employees 8 hours to go through all of our replens to make a shopping list. We have over 700 now at this point, so that's why. But we needed something to have that was a lot more automated, and so the software is being built. We have a couple of accounts testing in it right now. We're going through tweaks and everything with Amazon. So that is something that will be coming, and how to keep track of your replens as you grow. 0 to 10,000, it's easy to track them. You've got 70 replens or so. It's simple. Once you get over that, the $10,000 to $40,000 level, you start to realize now you need something else different. So
Right.
we'll be talking a lot more about the software as we go along the course.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. When and how to hire a shopper. So, who do you look for? What do you say to them? How do you get them interested? All of that, all the training, how you train them, when and even if to get a warehouse. Some of you guys might think I'm absolutely never going to do that. And that's totally cool. You can do this without a warehouse. Your house may end up looking like a warehouse. Maybe you have an extra space. Maybe you have a barn. But you'll have to expand somehow.
Right.
When do you do that?
And there are other options too outside of the warehouse that we can talk about. So
Absolutely.
even outside of your own house, there are other options.
For sure. Like prep centers, you can drop off items to.
Absolutely. Or, sometimes an employee that shops or preps and ships is fine with it being in the house.
Yeah, they might not care if they have it all at their house. Okay. How to use Keepa to evaluate replens. Guys, this is huge. This could be a whole course on just Keepa. And so we're going to explain how to use, Jimmy's going to explain it. That's his thing. How he looks at a Keepa graph and to decide whether it's a good buy or not. How to find 30 replens in 30 days.
Yep.
Kicked off really well. When and how to hire a virtual assistant to find all these online arbitrage finds for you. How to manage a team. That's huge. You want to hire all these people and not know how to manage them or not give them things to do. How to have the most efficient workflow. This is a big one too, because you get all this stuff. How do you handle it? What do you do with all of it? How to expand a wholesale and private label replen. So you do private label as well. So guys, private label is a replen. Anything sells over and over again is a replen. It could be a wholesale. It doesn't have to be online arbitrage or retail arbitrage.
Yeah.
So how would you use this for those credit?
And one note on that, Ryan, I know you've got private label course. It's not going to be that kind of a course. It'll be, how to basically use your RAOA replens to find a good niche for you to go into. So there's reports in Amazon and all of that stuff that we can look at. It's not going to be teaching you how to do private label, but it'll give you a good starting point to grow into that.
Yep. Access to all of Jimmy's super secret documents and its standard operating procedure. Tell him, guess I glossed over this, but tell him what is involved in that.
So we have a lot of things. So prep documents and standard operating procedures from that standpoint, how we run our warehouse and how those employees operate on a daily basis, how we shop, as well as how to basically go through the replen list once you're able to make that with the software. And so there's a lot of different standard operating procedures for, how to source, checklists for things like that. So if you're giving it to a new shopper, what do you want to give them? The highlights for how do they shop for you? All of those things will be in there. I like Excel documents, so I've got a few things, Google Docs essentially, that I can share with you as well for creating MSQs super quickly and all kinds of stuff. So,
sorry, answering a question here.
You're good.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, so guys, what if you so I know a lot of you look at this and like, my goodness, that's Jimmy and Brittany. They're super smart, or they're younger than me. They got all the energy in the world. They can do this. And I can't do this for whatever reason. Okay, so yeah, that's fine. You might not believe you can get to 100K right now. That's totally cool. Let me believe for you because I know you can do it. But let's just start with 10K. I guarantee every single person on this webinar can do 10K a month in replens. So what if you just did that? At only 15% profit, you're talking $1,500 a month in profit, okay? 30%, $3,000 a month in profit. What would that be like for you and your family? Guys, I was just reading the other day, most people go into bankruptcy because they don't have an extra $300 per month. So that is so sad. And you guys that are selling on Amazon, it's not hard to profit $300 a month. What are you talking about? Maybe selling $1,000 to $1,500 a month in sales to make that kind of money. And so what would $1,500 do for you? What would $3,000 a month do for you? So I know, guys, we could easily launch, us, our hearts. We could easily launch this for what 1 month of profit would be. We could charge $1,500. We could charge $3,000 for this course, but we're not going to do that. So it's not $3,000. It's not 1,500. So here's what you're going to get access to. It's 7 live webinars. They're all recorded. So we're going to start Tuesday, July the 2nd. That's the first one. If you can't make any of them live, no big deal. Go back to the other side real quick. It's okay. Yeah, it's fine. You can leave it there. It's okay because we're all going to be recorded. They'll be in a private Facebook group. You can ask Jimmy questions in between them. I'll probably go, I think the dates, because we're starting July 2nd, I think it goes out to the middle of August. $197. Guys, you can get access to this. If you're Legends members, do not buy it using the link we're going to post here. I'll post a different link for you. But it's $197 to get access to this. I know it's a steal, but we want to make this accessible for folks. No matter where you are in your business, in your life, whatever, we know that you can find $200 to do this. And so please do it. If you feel like this is a fit for your business, I guarantee you guys, this is the key for you to be able to have the freedom that you need to pay off that debt, to be able to go on that vacation, to be able to pay off your car, to whatever it is that you got in this Amazon business for. Replens is going to be the key if you're doing RA and OA. And so, yeah, Wayne, you said it's worth every penny. I guarantee it is.
And literally too, to pay that off, if you use the same averages that we talked about, the $15 per replen and 10 sales per month, that's only like 10 replens.
Yeah.
That'll pay that off. As at 10 replens, you'll be making about, $200 to $300 profit. So
exactly. So next slide here. So you get access to that. Here's the link, guys. Let me post the link here for you. And you might think, well, why are they selling it so cheap? Well, it's because we want to get people in here. We want people to do this. You guys know by now, you know my heart, you know Jimmy. We really want to help people change their lives. And I want more people like Jimmy and Brittany. I want to see more success stories. Jimmy, I remember that, and I'm starting to, sorry. I remember that time when you were at the hotel in South Lake and you were talking to us about quitting your job, and Danny and I were kind of encouraging you to, you can totally do it. And now you're selling $100,000 a month. I mean, I know. You have no idea what that does for me personally. That's way more exciting to me than anything I've ever sold on Amazon. Mm-hmm. I love seeing your story. And guys, I want more Jimmy's and Brittany's. That's why we're doing this. I mean, webinars are fun, but it's not just, I don't love to do this just to see myself on camera. Actually nervous about that a lot of times. I want to see success stories. And so if you want to have the freedom that they do, you want to have the business that they do, why did you get in the Amazon business in the first place? Think about why that is. Keep those in mind. I guarantee this replen course will help you get there. Yep. And so jump in. We start, go to the next slide. We start July 2nd. So it starts Tuesday. Once it starts, I don't know if we'll close it off or not, but you want to be on live if you can be. But get in before July the 2nd, which is next Tuesday. Oh, and Jimmy, talk about this just in time for Q4. Why is this a good time that we're even doing this course?
Yeah, so it's perfect timing because if you have a base of replens that you're selling, then you don't need to do the Q4 grind of running out, shopping clearance, looking at all the deals, buying a bunch of things that you think will go up in price but may not. So you can do that if you want, but at least you'll have a base of replenishable products to help you along with that whole Q4. And so that's why that's important, because you know that, hey, I've always got my replens. Let's go do some clearance shopping or look for the hot toy because I want to, because it's gravy on top of everything. But essentially, if you've got those replens, you know that you can trust that those things will continue to sell. They actually sell better in Q4. They do pick up, with all the other products. So that's always exciting to see those things go up with you. But we personally focus on replens. We did a little bit last year of shopping for toys and all of that just because we wanted to. But this year, we're not going to do that as much at all. So because we know we can trust in our replens and just continue to look for those things. So that's why it's important.
Okay. It starts July 2nd. It's going to be 7 p.m. Central Time, 8 p.m. Eastern. We'll go live in this private Facebook group. It'll be on Zoom as well. You can watch from anywhere. Again, if you can't make it, they're all recorded.
Yep.
Then we're going to take those live webinars and package them up and edit them into shorter videos, which you'll also have access to.
Yeah, and the good thing about being on it for the live webinars is you can ask me questions. You can ask Ryan questions. So you can ask us while we're there, because once it is in that prepackaged course, obviously it's going to be much harder to ask questions unless you're in the Facebook group.
That's right. All right, let's attack these questions. So stay on this slide here. Guys, we just feel free to if you feel like this is a fit, it's not high pressure around here at all. We just want to give you the opportunity to jump in if you feel like this is what you need. Okay, Cedric's asking, do you have problems with Amazon jumping on your listing, driving down the profit margins?
No, not really. I mean, that happens maybe 1% of our products, but.
Okay. All right. So this is a real rapid fire like we did at the conference. So we had lots of questions. Do you create your own bundles for your replens?
We don't make any of our own listings unless it's private label. So.
Okay. Do you know what the Dollar General private label brand name is as well?
Oh, goodness. I'd have to look at that. I do. Yeah.
Well,
I'd have to
probably Google that.
Yeah.
Susie's asking, Amazon seems to be cracking down on using trademark brand names in the title of some products. Has this affected your finding the brand name products?
It doesn't affect finding anything. We've definitely seen that happen more where something goes into stranded until it's fixed, but that has been very, very few of our products. I actually find that more on the products that aren't replens. I find it more if I had Nike shoes that I bought, a year ago, that those are now going stranded, where our replenishable products haven't been as much. There are some, but not many.
Okay. Do you merchant fulfill any of your items?
No, not unless it's Q4.
Okay. Talk a little bit about the software. People are getting hung up on, what do you mean by proprietary software? Is the software needed to do this?
It's not at all needed. So we didn't have the software or the sheet to track our replens until we had 75,000 a month. And by that time I realized that I need to make something. So I made it with Carl, and we made a sheet that would manage it all for us, but it's a little convoluted and difficult, especially if you don't like Excel or any of that stuff. So we're making it into a software to help manage it. You do not need it at all. Again, we got to 75,000 without it.
Without software, yeah.
Per month, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, totally not needed. Dion's asking, do you go to a bunch of different big box stores or concentrate on just one or two?
So we go to two main big box stores, so like Walmart and Target. We also go to Walgreens, and then we shop some regional stores. So I know everybody's got regional stores. That's where I would suggest the majority of you go, because then, everybody's got different regional stores with different regional products, and that's amazing for you and consistency. If you go to Walmart or Target, everybody goes there. There are still excellent replens. We make a lot of money from both stores. However, it's more likely to fluctuate in pricing and sales. So I would typically suggest going to regional stores more. So, if you've got like a Hy-Vee or something like that around you.
Okay. What if there's none of the sellers have the buy box? Would you still buy those items if it seems profitable?
If Keepa shows that it's selling at that price, then yes.
Okay, Wendy's asking, how much money would you need to find replens for the first month?
Well, personally, I would put as much as I could into it. So, but for the first month, so if you want to get to $10,000 in monthly sales, you probably need to spend $3,000 to $4,000 that month to be able to sell 10,000. But you should be making back, $2,000 to $3,000 or more in profit.
Yeah, but you don't have to start there. Guys, think about that's if you want to hit 10,000 like in the next month. We're talking about you could start with $500.
Yeah, exactly.
Start with 200. You can start with zero and do consignment to get some money, then do this strategy.
Absolutely.
So many ways. It just may take you longer if you don't have as much to spend. That's okay.
Or you start looking for products with 100% ROI, so you can double your money. Might take you a little bit longer to find those products, but it'll grow quickly.
Okay. You touched on this about the number that you would purchase. Elaine's asking, how many would you buy to send in if you find a good replen?
So when we started, it was 2 to 4 is what we would test with. And now we will test, 6 to 10 of those items, because we have to buy as much to sustain where we're at.
What point did you start taking a salary, paying yourself instead of reinvesting all the profit?
Well, so whenever I quit my job, I kind of had to, but it was definitely us living more on savings at that point until we grew it.
Sure.
So I would say about August. So whenever we really, um, started growing our business is when we were able to take that money. Um, but it all depends on a financial situation. So, if
Sure.
you need a couple $1,000s a month or you need $10,000 a month, that really just depends on how much you're selling.
Right. Okay. Um, Also, what about when you're looking? Most of them are what about gating issues? If you're not gated or you're restricted and stuff.
Yeah, so if you have a newer account or you're restricted in items, then you're obviously gonna have to play the waiting game. I mean, Amazon wants you to wait for a reason, just because their brands are gated for a reason. So unfortunately, you're gonna have to wait on some things. The good part about these hidden listings and replenishable products is usually the products that you're finding to buy aren't
Mhm.
going to be name brand. They could be in a restricted category, in which case you might have to put off buying in that category for 5-6 months, however long it takes for it to open up for you.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, we buy in every category that we can. So it's not like the categories that are open are awful. The categories that are open are still amazing to sell
Right.
on. So
Definitely.
don't let that limit your sourcing or your selling abilities,
Yeah.
because ultimately, again, that comes down to mindset. And so if you're only allowed to shop in the home section or the whatever section,
Mhm.
then go find replens in that section, because you can.
Good.
It's possible.
Okay. How many hours a week to reach 10K?
That'll vary. As you get better with
Mhm.
sourcing, it'll go quicker.
Mhm.
If you need to find 67 replens, is what I came up with. Um, you know, it might take an hour a week if you find one replen an hour to get there in 2 or 3 months. But I'll go down an aisle sometimes and I'll find 20 replens
Mhm.
to test. So it can go extremely quickly in an hour and a half if you're taking your time and you learn Keepa. It just all depends on patience and learning that process.
Okay. Do you have any small and light replens?
We tried it. I didn't like it. I know a lot of people that do. So we do not. We have a lot of products that would fit into that category, and we are currently looking into that more and more. But I know some people that do small and light. The reason I stayed out of it is because when we tried it, it was a longer processing time, and I didn't like waiting that much longer. And you had to send in, I think it was 24 of the product or something.
Okay.
But I think if you start out doing that and you're fine waiting, um, eventually you'll get used to that process and it won't be a problem. So we're considering looking at that more and more. It's definitely nice to make that extra money. So
Okay. Do you care how many? Oh, we answered that about how many sellers are on the list, and you said that you don't, as long as it's selling enough to make
yep,
up for it.
right.
Okay. Do you have experience of? Do you experience a lot of people jumping on your listings and running the price down?
That happens for sure. It doesn't happen that crazy amount. I mean, obviously, we're still selling the same amount or roughly the same amount. We fluctuate between 90 and over $100,000 a month ever since April. So it happens, but just find more. There's more products out there, or wait them out. If you've got the capital and you want to wait an extra month or two, you can do
Right.
that, and it'll most likely come back around.
Okay. Do you
It's
use tactical arbitrage?
Do we what?
Use tactical arbitrage?
I used to, but I don't for replenishable products anymore.
Okay.
I used to use it for non-replenishable products.
Okay. Is there a point where you consider a product saturated?
Well, I guess that depends on how you look at saturated. And I only
Right.
say that because, if there's a lot of sellers, but you're selling a lot and making profit, that's not really saturated. To me, it's saturated if it's not profitable or not selling.
Right.
So that would be the point.
Okay. Grant's asking a numbers question. So on $10,000 in sales, would your profit be $7,000 with a 70% ROI? The answer to that's not correct.
No, it would be so. I'd have to think about it. So 70% ROI. All right. So $10,000 a month in sales, you're probably spending, let's just say $3,000 just to make it easy math.
Mm-hmm.
If you were making 70% ROI, then your profit would be 3,000 times 0.7, so $2,100 of profit.
Yep.
So then your profit percent would be 21% in that scenario.
All right, let's do this last question in Zoom. We'll go over to Facebook and try to knock out some of those. Some of those we can save for later too. So if you started from scratch, would you mostly focus 80, 90% online arbitrage versus RA? How would you approach this, since I have limited time visiting places to do RA, but can still do RA maybe 20 to 30 hours a week? That's a lot of time. Has a full-time job, 20 to 30 hours a week could do RA.
Okay.
If I do OA, I can increase my time and hire a VA with my income and probably put aside 30 to 60 hours a week. Man, okay, I'll take a crack at this and you answer it. So if you have 20 to 30 hours, you could do RA, and you could hire a VA to do OA. I'd do both. I'd probably do both, unless you don't have the money to do both. If you have the money to do RA and OA, I'd probably start with RA and touch the products and prep them. You save a little money on the prep costs. But if you do have the money to have a VA finding stuff for you, and you can also purchase those deals, I'd do both of them. What would you say?
Oh, that was perfect. I always lean towards RA, only because it is the hardest thing to do, I think, is from a work ethic standpoint for sellers. A lot of people don't want to leave their house. So if you can go out and do RA, you're going to find more products a little bit easier than if you're doing OA. OA is a little bit more of a grind because anybody in the world can find those products, which is a perk, but also it takes a little bit more patience to find the right products, because those can fluctuate more. So if you go out and you find local things that are selling a lot, well, the local product, nobody else in the world can get that at that price. Right. So I suggest RA, but if you strictly can't do RA, then you can do OA, no problem. I would for sure outsource that to a VA. Or go take pictures of the aisles, like I said, for RA, come home and have a VA research every one of those products.
Yeah, okay. What about IP claims? Somebody posted on Facebook about that.
Do we get them? Is that, I guess, the question?
Yeah, you get them. How do you deal with them?
So we do get them every once in a while. It's rarely with a replenishable product. It's usually with something that we found in a clearance aisle, or that we found, a shoe or something like that we sold forever ago. So what we do is we kind of have a canned response for them. We send them the receipts of the product, and we highlight the receipt, and the canned response is typically something in the effect of, we didn't create the listing for this product. It was approved for us to sell. We take our selling privileges seriously. Please see the attached receipt/invoice with the product highlighted, showing that it was not violating intellectual property. And again, we did not create this listing.
So it's not our fault, Amazon.
And sometimes it works. Sometimes you have to fight with them. That's just Amazon. So
sure. Michael Beard asking a good question. Do you ever spend any time trying to optimize an average selling replen to improve sales, like the listing?
We do not.
Okay.
I know some people that do. The reason I do not is because if I did that, then more and more people are going to find it. I'd rather it sell slowly and me be one of two sellers.
Oh, that's a good strategy. Yeah. Okay. Karen asked, do you do wholesale and PL for replens? I know you do private label for sure.
Yep, we do private label. We have about 12 products or so now.
Awesome.
It makes up about 5% of our business. Then wholesale, we're getting more and more into that. I'm trying to partner more with brands. One of our replens has now become an exclusive wholesale relationship as of the other day. And they have a whole nother product line that wasn't in stores that now we can sell. So
nice. Like
I said, we'll use this course and show you a little bit how to leverage your replenishable products to find potential private label and wholesale relationships.
Gonti asked, do you have like a minimum, so you have the ROI percentage you don't like to go under, but what about like a dollar amount per replen? Do you have a floor on that?
So when we started, it was a minimum of $5.
Okay.
And, now, if it's fast and it's super lightweight and it sells like crazy, I'll take $1. I mean, it's essentially then you're putting in a dollar bill into a box, and it'll get there.
I'll take a lot of dollar bills.
Exactly.
All right. Melissa, how fast do your test products need to sell for you to think, hey, you have a good replen, let's go buy more?
We typically like to sell the products in 30 days, 30 to 60 days max.
Okay.
Our average selling amount of days for selling is about 32 days. So our average inventory turnover is 32 days.
Okay. John's asking, have you ever received an IP claim from a generic brand that advertises something like, quote, comparable to NyQuil on the generic brand box?
I have received suspected IP violations, and that's not the same as an intellectual property violation. So it's a little bit different because nobody's actually made a claim. It's just Amazon saying we think this could become a claim.
Uh-huh.
And so in those instances, we do exactly what it tells us to do, which is contact them, kind of plead your case that, hey, this was already a listing and this product is, here's our invoices. It's the same exact process as an IP claim, but the suspected ones usually go away after you do that.
Okay. Do you sell a lot of grocery items?
Yes, we do. We sell a good amount of grocery and home and health and beauty and toys and all kinds of stuff.
Okay. And Roy's asking, have you ever opened up a wholesale account with somebody that you found on OA?
On OA, no, we haven't. It's typically been RA, but it doesn't matter. It's the same process.
Exactly.
We just prefer RA, so we do that.
Sure. Okay.
We are finding too, a lot of our RA replens might also be online, so that's starting to expand our online arbitrage a little bit more because it's easier to manage.
Right. Chris is asking, which inventory system do you use?
To manage inventory or to send ship. So we use Inventory Lab for our shipments and tracking profit and loss and all of that.
Okay.
To manage our inventory and repurchasing, we have our own software that we're using.
Cool. Man, I think there might be a couple that filtered through in the Legends group in Facebook. We can go back through and check those, but I think we answered the majority of them. Guys, we're going to cut it off there so he can go back to his evening. But there's a link if you want to get in. We'd love to have you be a part of this. It starts July 2nd. Going to be awesome. So, Danny, Jimmy, any other thoughts you want to say before we sign off?
You know what? There's not too much else. I'm excited. This course is going to go through the first 3 or 4 weeks are going to be the basics of how to find replens. And the last 3 or 4 weeks is going to be how to scale your business. And so I will be sharing as much as I possibly can on this. And I'm excited to help as many people as we can. So
pulling back the curtain.
Yep, exactly.
Sharing all those super secret documents.
Yep. And I appreciate, every one of you, that have been on this webinar. Thanks for taking your time. I know an hour and a half long webinar is a lot of time. So I appreciate it. And I thank you for your trust for those of you that can get into the course and just happy to have this opportunity. So thank you so much, Ryan.
Awesome. Thanks, Jimmy. Appreciate it, man. Thanks everybody. We'll see you later.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right. Bye.